This year, Georgia tobacco producers harvested one of the best crops in years, but they will be the first to tell you they can't produce a quality crop alone. Scientists in Tifton working alongside growers to make sure diseases don't wipe out their livelihood. The Monitor's Mark Wildman has the story.
In Valdosta, Fred Wetherington has a little pep in his step as he walks past his drying barns this year. That is because he has just finished up getting his crop in, and it looks like it will be one to remember.
I think the tobacco crop's one of the better crops we've had in 10 or 12 years. I think it had the potential at one time. I mean, over the summer, I think a lot of us thought it might have been the best crop in forever.
It all seemed to fall together this year for the crop. Conditions in the field were just right, and disease pressure was extremely low.
This year really reminds me of years ago. You know, I mean, we used to have these kind of years year in and year out. We had a different weather pattern this year, which some people think maybe we're cycling back into, where we had a colder, wetter winter, and then, you know, spring came on a little later. And that's sort of reminiscent of back years ago when I was young. You know, we used to have a lot of that. If we're sort of going back to that trend, I think that's a better, that model weather model is a little better for our Georgia flue-cured tobacco.
Just up the road in Tifton, UGA scientists want to make sure Georgia farmers stay ahead of ever-changing diseases by being hard at work detecting and identifying potential threats.
Necessity is the mother of invention, and we had a serious outbreak of tomato spotted wilt in the early 90s, and since it was a new virus, no one else was doing any kind of work on that particular virus. We decided that for us to save some of our crops from the destruction from this virus, we needed to start our own laboratory on site to take care of the needs requirements and needs of the researchers that were studying the disease.
Think of it as a crime lab of sorts for agriculture. This lab can process hundreds of samples a day, and it is extremely important for growers.
We will work on a lot of different vegetables, tomatoes, peppers. Peanuts are a big sample that we bring through here because peanuts has been affected by tomato spotted wilt virus drastically over the past couple of decades. So we have peanuts, onions. Every now and then, I've even got a watermelon in there I have to test right now. So we have a variety of different samples that we bring through the lab to test them for viruses.
The lab is funded in part by various ag groups, and with efficient staff and close proximity to Georgia fields, it can keep farmers alerted if any trouble shows up.
On a normal day, we run a few hundred samples a day. On any given year, we run anywhere from 60 to 70,000 samples through this lab. We do have the capability to run 1,000 samples a day if we have to. And during the summertime, and actually we've just gotten through our peak period where we're harvesting a lot of tobacco samples from the previous tobacco harvest that will run up to 2,000 samples a day. And it's a hard, long day, but we get it done. We've got great personnel around here, great technicians, and I've been blessed to have a lot of those folks around me to help get those things run.
And that is a big relief to Fred Wetherington, who knows he can only do so much to ensure a successful crop.
Really, no matter what kind of disease problems you might have, you can send a sample there and find out exactly what you have. Some of it is something that you can't clear up in one season or 2 seasons or 3 seasons. It's something you really need to monitor and work at. And that's, you know, if we didn't have that lab, I don't know how we would get that kind of information, because not only is it helping you getting educated for this crop season that you might be in currently, but it's really helping you plan for several crop seasons going forward.
As long as viruses and diseases continue to attack Georgia crops, labs like this one here in Tifton will be on the front lines to help producers fight back. I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.